So it's time to make a video that's different than EcoDiesel tuning because that's all the videos I've been making, and I feel like that has been alienating people. With that being said, we've run into a couple issues lately with tuning. Now, most of you don't know, I do have a pretty lengthy hour day job, which honestly is just for insurance benefits and things like that. So, you know, I got 12 hours a day and I'm not really allowed to be on my computer, so I only go on it during break. So we have had issues with customers that think that we're taking too long to do things, or get mad if I'm busy on the weekend with the girlfriend or with my kids who I don't really get to see that often. So I'm not like Jay Green or anyone like that where it's like, hey, screw you, I won't help you, blah, blah, blah. We're not like that. But with that being said, you know, we ask for a little bit of respect when it comes to timeline. And if your timeline is going to be very short, tell us that, and we'll set up a schedule or some sort of a plan to make sure that your remote tuning is done in a reasonable amount of time. So one of the big issues that we have is that we have, so I've been doing this a long time. Now, just because I've been doing this a long time doesn't mean I know everything about it, and doesn't mean that sometimes I can't be wrong when it comes to computers and software and errors and things like that. But we'll get customers who are logging for us and the correct data is not populating. So we'll tell them, hey, the data is not populating correctly, and they'll say, well, it works on my end. Look, here, you know what? Here's a story someone told me at work the other day. A guy works for Microsoft. He goes to the gun range, keeps shooting the gun, keeps missing the target. Okay, people are like, well, hey, what's the problem? So he takes the gun, puts his finger in the end of the gun, blows his finger off, and then says to himself, or says to the other person, well, it works on my end, the problem must be on your end. And that's kind of what comes up, is that just because something works for the customer doesn't mean that it's actually working properly when it gets transferred to us. And sorry for anyone who's annoyed by me walking around, I get impatient. But so we get a lot of issues like that where we're like, hey, this is the issue we're having, and customers get mad and they say, I don't know what you want me to do. They'll switch tuners, all kinds of things, because nobody ever wants to hear that they're wrong or issues like that. And like I said, I don't know everything when it comes to this. But at the end of the day, you know, you're coming to me to get something tuned. Why argue with me over what I'm telling you? I only tell you stuff if it's true. I've told many customers, like, hey, something's mechanically is wrong with your vehicle based on the logs I'm seeing, and customers will argue. They won't talk to you for a few months. And all of a sudden they'll message you out of the blue like, hey man, my head gasket was shot, or hey, this sensor was bad. And it's like, bro, like, I'm not telling you something's wrong with your car so that way I can blame your car for tuning not working. What I'm doing is I'm telling you that something's wrong with your car so you can fix it, because whatever's wrong with the car is going to make it so we can't tune the vehicle properly. So that's like one of the biggest issues we have with tuning and remote tuning, is people's timelines, people wanting to argue with us, or people sending us the wrong information, or people just sending you a video of their car saying, hey, how do I fix this? An idle video of your car, of your gauge cluster, does not tell me anything. The logs tell me the best thing possible when it comes to fixing your vehicle. The other thing that I need properly is a good explanation. Like, even if it sounds cheesy, a deep, good explanation. Like, hey, I start my car, it idles high for a few seconds, and then it crashes and dies. Okay, that's a good explanation. Some people will say, hey, my car dies when you start it. I can't do anything like that. I can't do anything with that, because you got to explain to me what exactly happens prior to it dying. The other thing is people send logs of the engine in closed loop mode, meaning that the engine's cold, it's not warmed up. I can't really do a lot with that. The first couple files we can work with that, but after that we need to force the vehicle in open loop so we can see based on the oxygen sensors what's going on with the vehicle. And obviously if you have a wideband, it's a little bit different. I'm trying to think if we have any other weird issues lately. I had a Camaro lately that came in when I still had my shop, and The guy's like, yeah, I just want to get my 4-cylinder turbo Camaro tuned. I just got a new turbo put in because my turbo failed. But he didn't get it done at the dealership. He went to a regular place, got it done, and honestly, it looks like they threw a used turbo in. Well, we start writing a file. We put the first file in. We get a block down the road. His turbo grenades. And then the guy's blaming us, like, hey, you guys blew my turbo up and this, and that. Dude, the turbo in the Camaro will hold 30 PSI boost. We didn't even hit 18 PSI boost, and the turbo completely grenaded. I said, bro, like, you got a junk turbo. You need to take it back to where you got it. And you need to take it care of. And the customer started freaking out, swearing, and saying all this stuff. Like, I'm going to call the cops. You broke my vehicle, and this, and that. And we were on the side of the highway. I basically told him to go fuck himself and walk back to my shop because I was like, you know what? You have to be able to listen. We're not in this to screw people over. We're not in this to blow people's cars up. We're not in it to break people's stuff. We're in it to give you the best tuning or the most power safely in your vehicle. If there's something mechanically wrong with your vehicle, there's nothing we can do about that because, like every tuning shop will tell you, and Joe, I'm going to be working on your file today. I see Joe commented on here. Any shop will tell you when they start tuning your vehicle, or like a dyno shop and you drop it off, they'll ask you, is there anything wrong with your car? Because if your car is not in mechanical sound shape and something comes apart on the dyno, it's on you. And if you knew something was wrong and it comes apart on the dyno and trashes their dyno, they're probably going to sue you for it. So people need to keep that in mind. Like, I got people that come in to my shop with chargers and they're like, hey man, I need a tune, my car's running funny. They show up, every lifter's ticking, the MDS is completely shot, exhaust manifold bolts are destroyed. And I just tell them, like, look, this, and this is wrong with your vehicle. I can put a base tune on it today. I said, but it's not going to help your problem. You need a cam, you need lifters, you need to have all this stuff fixed. I said, I can put in a tune that'll shut the MDS off and make it drive better and run better. But now that you're making more power, there's a good possibility that you could actually end up damaging your vehicle faster because of the I guess the added load put on there by the tuning when your cam is already having issues to begin with. I don't know if anyone's seen an MDS lifter failure. I've pulled cams out of pretty much every Hemi with a quarter to a half inch of the lobe completely gone. And, you're like, how in the world did you drive this vehicle and have no idea that there was something wrong with it? Like, there's no way that it just wasn't rattling all the hell. Trying to think of any other weird mechanical things we've happened. I was doing a remote tune for a shop at a friend of mine. He put a cam in, driving on the road, freaking coolant overflow exploded. The car wouldn't overheat, nothing. The coolant overflow just blew apart. I'm guessing heat from the headers. I don't know. But there's a lot of crazy stuff. We had a Hellcat that we tuned for a guy who had I don't know if he got some off-brand injectors or something, but one of his injectors failed and just completely toasted a cylinder on his engine. And, he's like, oh, you guys blew my motor up, this, and that. And it's like, bro, we have 6 Hellcats all running the same tuning. 100% same tuning, same mods, and none of them have problems. One of them was my personal car that I put 20,000 miles on, and I beat the piss out of it with the same tuning on it. Customer refused to get his injectors checked, customer refused to get his fuel checked, and a few other things. So, I mean, at that point, it is what it is. But people's first thing, picture the meme with the guy on the bicycle shoving the stick in the wheel, is always to blame someone. In this case, tuners. The car broke, must be the tune. Not so often on cars. On diesels, when your transmission grenades, probably half the time it's because of the tuning, because a lot of the people that tune the bigger diesel trucks are absolutely awful when it comes to tuning them. And I'm going to try and get some of the bigger diesel trucks and show you the differences in the files like we have with the smaller diesels. And maybe I'll break down some gas tunes from some of the big Hemi companies just to show people what exactly they do to these files, that they're charging you $700, $800, $900 for Hemi files. That I would, if you wanted the same information, I'd probably charge you $20 because that's about as much of a value you're getting in there. We're trying to get some stuff ready today for the women's sorority thing at the college. So I'll be on and off today, doing files and sending people files and base logs and things like that. So if you have files with me and you're waiting on them back, make sure you message me or double check with me. There's a possibility that I may have missed the email. Make sure that anything that you've sent me, you have 100% of the information there, the mods, even the vehicle, because sometimes when I get the file over, it don't tell me what kind of car it is. I mean, I could break the VIN down, but a Hemi's a Hemi. But the thing is the Hemi in a 6,000 pound trunk, a 4,000 pound car? Is it in a freaking Miata? I have no idea, and that stuff does actually make a pretty significant difference when it comes to how we do timing and fuel, because the heavier the vehicle is, the more fuel it needs, and the less timing it needs. So I guess that's it for this video. I got to take off and run some errands here. So anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, subscribe, follow, message me on Facebook, whatever you need to do, and we'll try to get back to you.